Welcome to episode 8 of Honest to a Malt. I am Duncan.
Bonjour. I am Mike.
Buongiorno.
Bonsoir.
Salut.
Bonsoir. Made that up.
Mike,
could be French, could be German.
What's the episode title today then?
We Supermarché On.
Nice. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about supermarket drams, which will extend to Amazon, basically large retailers as the main topic today.
Accessible.
Yeah. And also some rules around them. So not just what's good to buy, what's maybe you should definitely avoid, but also just some sort of general rules. So things that we've learned and things that we would advise.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 weeks, hasn't it, since the last pod now, right?
It has been a long time. So, yeah, with the bank holiday, we thought we'd give everyone a break from us just to sort of chill out. But we are back.
Yeah.
Coming in your ears.
And people have been really responding well to the two pods nickname. They've been liking that. I think.
Don't think they have. I think
that's
sank. Don't think one person's mentioned it.
No, quite several people have mentioned it.
Several people have mentioned it.
People even tried to sort of double down on that and give you sort of extension nicknames. So I just wanted to say thanks to everyone for listening so far, because we will hit 1,000 listens this week, which is pretty cool, right?
Big time.
Considering when it started in mid-March. And also big shout out to Dan from Somerton Club, because he has included Honest to a Malt in his best whiskey blogs page, alongside a few other UK whiskey blogs. So
I might put that air horn in again, UK. Yeah, making it big.
I don't think we've got any other sort of thanks to say. So what's been in your glass this week then, Mike? Go on, Mike, tell us. We're dying to hear. What have you been drinking this week? What has been in your glass?
Not a lot. It's been a very hectic week with work, and to be fair, I haven't drank that much. But at the moment, I am on a Glenfarclas 20-year-old.
Nice.
Which was a Southport whiskey special bottling. I can't remember which festival it was. But yeah, that is absolutely stunning. As you'd expect. I think some people get a bit of sulphur in Glenfarclas, but it doesn't seem to affect me. So just proper old-fashioned sherried whiskey. All the things you want to taste, all the Christmas pudding notes and things like that. I'm
pretty sure I stared that bottle down on the website when it was on their website before it sold out, and just didn't push the button on it.
I think a lot of them are in auctions and they go in for a lot less than retail.
Right, so keep an eye out for it, basically. It's actually, that's one of the ones I forget to search for at auctions, Glenfarclas.
I think there's loads out there.
But I just forget to search for it. It's never one of those distilleries I search for. But I always enjoy having a dram of it, so especially the cask strength stuff.
It's a weird thing. I think for me, for some reason, I sort of don't look down on it, but it was so cheap. You could pick up like the 21-year-old for 70 quid at points. Right. And I'm like, that's just ridiculous for like a single cask 21-year-old. And even like the 25 was only 100 quid. But you look at it now, prices have gone through the roof on it.
Yeah, you wouldn't buy it now. I thought I'd landed. I actually thought I'd landed a couple of 25 bottles for about 135 quid. But both orders got cancelled from the two places I'd ordered from, which was annoying, because it was one of those ones I would have just boshed in the cupboard for when you're on a Christmas session or something. I did try a Glenfarclas 20-year-old or 21-year-old cask strength, like the special
family casks?
No, like they do that 60% proof edition, don't they, or the stronger proof edition. It was like
105.
Yeah, the 105. It was like the special edition version of the 105.
Yeah.
And I accidentally bought it in the Lord Wargrave pub, thinking it was the one.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Thinking it was the 105.
And I thought you had a bottle. I was I accidentally bought it.
I accidentally bought a dram of it at that pub, thinking it was the standard 105, and they were like, "That would be £21, please." I was like, "Hang on."
That's only 30 quid.
Can I see the bottle, please? And I was like, it's a fancy limited edition. I drank it.
Pour it back in.
Yeah, torture myself drinking it.
I had a glass of that recently, actually, the 105. I was trying to
is it any good?
Convince some new people to drink some whiskey. Probably a bit strong for a brand new person drinking whiskey is what I've learned. Let's not send them straight into the 105. So that's a little notes to
Maybe
myself.
a little bit too much to go.
Avoid Lefroy and Glenfarclas 105 for brand noobs. So yeah, but yeah.
Your taste
what are you
buds.
drinking?
Well, your taste. Oh, I'll tell you in a second. But your taste buds actually renew every 2 weeks. So, whatever damage you've done to their mouse, they'll be brand new again in 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%. You get brand new taste buds like every 2 weeks or something like that.
It's like subscribe and save. Just every.
I don't know. I should honestly look into it more. But it's one of those weird things where your taste buds just renew themselves all the time, and you can have weird changes over time as well. Like my dad never used to like white wine; he used to hate it, and now he'll only drink white wine and not red wine.
Really?
And he used to love peated whiskey, but now he doesn't like peated whiskey at all. Really, So your taste buds can change over time.
That's like me. I never used to eat smoked mackerel and banana, but now since last pod, I've had that a couple of times. Lovely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We 100% should mention that.
We should probably touch on that.
Yeah. So I did.
I think it was just more to say thank you for the engagement more than anything, because I think people were just like, "What are you two doing?"
Well, what did you try though? I tried.
So I did
Go on,
mango with chili powder.
Right. Good.
That was pretty normal. Yeah, really, really good.
Just sounds like something you'd have in Thailand or like Malaysia.
Exactly, Malaysian breakfast. That's how I sort of saw it.
Yeah, with some noodles.
Strawberries and with some strawberry and basil. That was nice.
Yeah,
quite a British thing. I thought. I wouldn't. To me, I kind of just assumed they went together anyway. So
you'd probably bang that in a Pimm's and lemonade, wouldn't you? Strawberry and basil.
It's probably that. That's probably why it was like fine.
Cucumber.
Smoked mackerel and banana was different.
That was your most outlandish.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, to be fair. I think I put on Twitter, it was sort of like the banana took off the severe saltiness of the smoked mackerel, and the mackerel didn't do anything to the banana. So yeah, two things, nice, separate, went together well.
Yeah, but it was more about sort of knocking down kind of boundaries a bit, wasn't it, in your mind about what you eat. What did I do? Honey on French fries.
Oh, that was good.
That was actually delicious, and I would do that again.
If you could, those chips, if you can get them just
crispy,
turning like golden, crispy brown,
that's exactly
how
the calf does them. So I loved that, and I did apply the honey when people weren't looking though, because.
Oh, did you not say I've got to try something?
No,
don't think I'm weird.
When people weren't looking, I just slammed some honey on them.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I tried it with chili infused honey on top of the chips, and that was even better. There's like that little spicy element.
What else did I do? I did
Marmite.
Marmite and wasabi peas. Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was actually amazing. But the Marmite dominated the wasabi peas, and I also tried vanilla ice cream with gherkin juice.
Oh, pickle juice.
Yeah, pickle juice.
How was that?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I like pickle juice though, so this is what we were saying. If two things taste good to you separately, they'd probably taste all right together, and so it was good. I mean, obviously I didn't put a whole scoop of ice cream in a pickle juice jar. I just put a little bit of pickle juice on top of the ice cream, and it gave it a slight vinegary taste, like had a sharpness to it. So you had the softness of the vanilla with the sharpness. And, was it slightly weird? Of course it was slightly weird, but, it was all right. It was decent. Yeah.
What about some finely chopped pickles into a 99?
I mean, I could probably do that as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I definitely...
it was a good experiment.
Yeah, it's a good experiment. And it's opened my mind a little bit, I think. I've always mixed up flavors and stuff, but never anything totally random. So maybe I'll just be a bit more random going forwards. What's been in my glass? Well, I've been propping you up at the bar because you've been good and I've been bad.
Very good. You have been a bad boy.
So here's a big shout out to PS Whiskey, Paul, because he did a Ben Riach tasting of peated port. I was on that.
Nice.
And I mean, they were very good.
Really?
Yeah, peated port is a great mix.
Cannot go wrong.
There was 4 single casks. I can't remember which my favourite were, but the tasting notes coming out of them were outstanding. Like, it was unbelievable tasting notes coming out from them. And that made them really interesting. So that was great. I tried mixing things up just yesterday. I finished off a bottle of Balcones single malt.
Balcones.
Balcone.
I think it's Balcones, but I'm sure yet more people will say the same.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least I'm trying the distillery.
Yeah.
I've also tried the baby blue.
Did you like it?
Stuff. Well, so I finished a bottle. It's very banana heavy. It's quite intense, quite young. Super interesting. So what I thought I'd do with the last bit of it is put it in. I made an old-fashioned cocktail. So it was 2 measures of that with date syrup, and I had some chocolate bitters left. With chocolate bitters. So that made it kind of banana and chocolatey. Then what I did, once I'd mixed it around with the ice for a good while to get everything together, you know, when you mix it in the glass.
Yeah.
I then topped it up with like quality blue top milk and turned it into like something between an old fashioned.
Like a white
Russian white Russian, yeah. And it
Russian
was
fashion.
It was amazing because it had all the chocolate and banana-iness coming through with the milkiness. That's just kind of what I fancied at the time. Goes back to what we were saying about just drink it how you want. But also I had my mate Dave over, which my wife knows about now because I didn't admit to it to start off with. I got in a bit of trouble. So he came over and he raided the whiskey cabinet. And because Dave doesn't drink that much whiskey and he lives in Mexico most of the time, so shout out to Dave as well. He was just doing the thing that I love, where every whiskey that I put in the glass, he was going, "Oh my God, that's amazing." He was actually giggling. He was going, "Oh, this is amazing." And we were just catching up.
That experience.
And he was going, "What's this one? This is so good. Next one, this is so good." I was like, going, "Dave, which?" So we went through most of my whiskey cabinet. So most things have been in the glass. But I do remember we early on in the night opened up a fresh bottle of the Hazelburn 12 Oloroso cask matured, which I've got in the glass now. And it's exceptional. Yeah, and so I'm really glad that I managed to snag a bottle of that and it's open. So
am I right? That's triple distilled. Is that me thinking that?
I'm not sure.
Way off.
I'm not sure.
I could be way off.
It's obviously part of Springbank, isn't it? But some of them can be a little hit and miss. I've actually tried the 21-year-old, and I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest.
Fair dues.
I wouldn't, and it's nothing to do with the price point. It just didn't love it. This one I love. And I've tried a couple of others as well. I tried the sherry tasting set from Springbank, which had a lot of Hazelburns in it, and I loved those. And I think I've tried.
Was that easy to get hold of, or
this was one of those ones I got this on the day I was queuing outside the shop that you missed.
I don't care now. I got.
Yeah, I know, but the point is,
it's just a good memory. I am still bitter.
I got it.
Even though
I got it at the end. So when they,
bitter.
when they hadn't sold out of everything, you're allowed to buy another bottle. So I bought it, but obviously I've opened it because I'm not, that person. And it's just like a delight on the nose, like kind of dustiness and the funk's there, and it's kind of like very strawberry heavy.
How much did you pay for it?
Whatever RRP was, I don't know, 65 quid, something like that, 67 quid. I'm not sure. I'd pay it again.
You do enjoy buying whiskey, don't you?
Yes. Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I lost it. Because
I feel somebody finally broke, and the embargo was victory for me, I believe.
Yes, you won.
Big strong victory. I'm still not haven't bought anything, and I'm going to see how long I can go. So I'm just like in competition with myself now.
So righteous. Well, good luck to you. I cracked.
Did you get this Glen Scotia festival as soon as you cracked?
I ordered a bottle of that yesterday. I saw there was the option.
How much have you bought since?
I've just bought 2 bottles.
You first broke.
Since I broke, yeah. But I might give in and buy another bottle today. Let's see. But I have been
floodgates.
I have been more controlled. So how long was it? I managed to not buy a bottle for. Was it 2.5 weeks? 3 weeks? What was it?
Must be coming up to 3 weeks.
Maybe. So it's about 3 weeks, maybe pushing. I couldn't even manage a month.
No.
It's not
I'm
sad.
going strong, mate.
Well, good luck to you. The one that broke me was a Glengoyne.
You found a bargain, didn't you?
Well, I mean, for me, it's just
not a bargain, but like a good indie.
It's just one of those bottles that's really hard to get hold of single casks. So there was a lot of people sharing links for things like the Coronation bottles, which I've totally ignored. And this happened to be Douglas Lang's Coronation offering, but ignoring that, they put out 3 bottles, of which one seemed to be cask strength and happens to be single cask. And bizarrely, it's only 22 bottles. So they've basically released 22 bottles. So I'm assuming that they haven't released all the cask and they're saving the rest of the cask for later. But they put out 22 bottles. What? It's it looks like ex bourbon, or it's a refill cask anyway. And
ex biscuit.
Ex-bourbon. It's one of those ones I've said wrong for years. So not only am I losing, now you give me a hard time about this. So
no, it's all right.
The tasting notes looked right up my street, like super summer, like just looked perfect for me. So I saw that. The fact it was so limited, the fact it's so hard to get hold of single cask of that distillery. Yeah. And I think after the 10% off for your first order, because I've never happened to have ordered from them, or if I have, it's so long ago, brought it down to 81. Postage was free. It was like £81 for a single cask Glengoyne.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bargain. That's a really good value. You know, because look how much the standard editions cost.
Oh yeah, they've gone ridiculous. Yeah, and I'm still keeping an eye out for their teapot one. I think that if that comes out, teapot that's what will break me. But I'm not sure if they're bringing one. But that is,
they bring them out every now and then. But what I did miss though, but I've had, this will be the third single cask I've had from the distillery in the last 12 months.
Okay.
All around 15 to kind of 21 years old, and I enjoyed the other two immensely. So I'm expecting to enjoy this one a lot. Yeah. What I did miss out on though, because of the whiskey buying embargo, which I hold against you like a grudge I will take to my deathbed, is I wasn't, which is my fault because I was in control. I could have cracked, but because I was trying to hold on, I held on and didn't buy anything from Tamdhu over the Speyside Festival. In fact, I didn't buy anything from Speyside Festival, full stop.
No.
So I missed out on all of that, and then I finally broke. So I should have just broken earlier, in hindsight.
Well, where's the lesson?
I'm not sure what the lesson is. I think the lesson is... I'm not sure I learned anything from it. I just think...
Don't go in competition with me.
Yeah, all right, you win. So
that was good, though.
Also, somebody... I saw a video of Richard Patterson, right?
Yes.
And I'd never seen any of these videos. Now, I'm totally aware of who he is, what his job is, what his history is. But that doesn't mean I've sat watching sort of videos of it on YouTube. And now I have.
Now you're addicted.
Well, now I have. And now I get all the comments from people.
Yeah. I think the video you're referring to is how to drink whiskey like a sir.
There's a lot of those videos.
That is the title. So yeah, I think we'll drop the link in the episode description below. But yeah, I think we should have a little watch just as a little reminder as to how that is.
So how do you taste blended Scotch whisky? First of all, you need to use a glass, not just any glass, a Capita nosing glass. So what you must do is take the bottle, pour it into the glass, swirl it around, as I said to you before, throw it out, because you want to get rid of any odours that are perhaps on the lip of the glass. Swirl it around, bring it up and say, hello. Then you go back to it, how are you? And then go back to it, quite well. Thank you very much. Now remember, get into it.
All right, so we've watched it again. First thing is he rubbishes tumblers. So straight up, you know, it's questionable, isn't it? Because it's the greatest drinking vessel.
Well, cowboy, I do agree with you there.
Don't knock it back like a cowboy.
Probably the only factually correct part of that whole thing. Yeah, that's true. Don't knock it back
like a cowboy, yeah. But 6 times I've had my whiskey ruined. That's why you've got to put your finger in the water jug.
6 times he's had it ruined.
Yeah.
67 times he's been kicked out of a bar for throwing whiskey around
across the room. As somebody said on Twitter, it is only YMK. So.
It is only YMK, but still, could you imagine?
Shackleton, I said we could remake this video with Shackleton.
Yeah.
You've thrown the whiskey out 3 times now. Do you think the glass is clean? I'm not sure. Yeah. Maybe one more time.
Can I get 2 proper 12s, please? Yeah, just gone. Yeah. Do you want another one? No, I was just getting rid of it for you.
Side note: Did you see McGregor drinking proper 12 at whatever event it was? He was drinking it out of the bottle. Proper
like
12,
like a cowboy.
Apple, like a cowboy.
Oh, he's got flavoured ones now.
So the the Richard Patterson thing. Capitas are great for tasting. Can't argue with that. So are Glencairns.
Yeah.
35% I sort of take issue with, and actually it was surveyed recently, wasn't it, to say that.
Well, this is it. It is the ideal ABV, and I'm like,
very specific.
If you drink anything above 35%, what's going to happen is you go into a blinking fit and you pull faces and you grimace, apparently.
I feel like...
so I'd love to see him drinking like a single cask strength just to see the reaction, if that's what's happening at 40%.
Have you seen Will Ferrell doing George Bush?
No.
Oh, God, you've got to watch it after this. Will Ferrell does impressions of George Bush on his ranch.
Yeah.
And they're only like 2.5 minute, 3 minute videos, and they're classics. And one of the things that you'll take away from it when you watch it is him talking about facts. You got that? You're going to bring your book of facts again, right? To prove a point. And to drop a fact on you now, they just recently did some research in America. So God knows, I haven't checked it out. It was a small or a legitimate university or whatever. But what their research showed was that only for a very small select bunch of people does actually reducing the whiskey down to sort of 25% really can they pick out all those really nuanced things. And the rest of us plebs, we're better to just drink it as it is. Now, obviously, if it's really strong, you put a little bit of water in to open it up. But actually diluting it right down is really only for the people who, the special
blenders.
Ones. Yeah, blenders, the special ones in society.
Yeah.
And the rest of you, you're just ruining your whiskey.
Yeah.
You're literally just ruining it. And I watched
adding loads of water will bring out so much more on the nose, but then you don't want to drink it after you've done that. So I know someone that,
wasted, isn't
when
it?
he gets a few samples, will always take a little bit out into a glass and literally flood it just to see what's on that nose underneath. And you can get a bit more out of it, but you'd never drink that. That you would Richard Patterson. What's left of that? Poof, gone. Let's have the real whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I would always just like...
I find it just muddies it a bit. Sometimes you put too much water in. So the other thing I wanted to take out of that, because I think we have to be... I mean, look, you know...
We like you, Richard. I'm sure you're a lovely fella. But
great moustache.
I'd just like to say hello. How are you, Richard? Quite well, thank you.
Quite well, thank you very much. There's some points to that which is, basically, you should be gentle with nosing the whiskey to start off with.
Yeah.
I think that is, that's valid, and you just do that kind of naturally.
Well, that's why you did the tasting sort of notes on the website. You were sort of like trying to give a bit more of a guide to people that aren't maybe used to doing tastings and things like that.
Yeah.
Not to say this is how you must do it. Like, why are you telling anyone
guidance.
what they should do?
But
yeah.
I still not understand the finger in the water jug, because you could tell the water from feeling the outside of the jug. If someone's put warm water or hot water, you'd be able to feel it through the glass.
Yes.
Right. So you don't need to put your finger in the water, but I mean,
no, you
can, but you don't have to, right?
And I'm saying, if you're going to a whiskey bar, how many people are fingering your water?
Stop fingering my water.
That is not safe.
Not safe.
Do not finger other people's water.
There's a few things I sort of generally take issue with it. Other than, obviously everything else with it, absolutely fine. That's
the pauses in between when he's speaking is good. Yeah. It's solid stuff. But I'm sure that was quite like 8 years ago. I'm sure he's caught up to date. Maybe
I wonder if he drinks Glentashes.
Loves a Glentasher.
So my side note from that is a lot of people, obviously, we're all tasting, nosing whiskey, and I think you do get different types of people when they're nosing whiskey. Like, you get kind of like thoughtful people, and you get kind of like dramatic people. He'd be on the sort of dramatic scale, wouldn't he? He's like very dramatic. And then you get kind of like sort of intense people.
It depends how you're blessed in the nose department. I'm trying to give you a side profile.
Yeah.
I don't need to put a lot of effort in.
Do you want to see a side profile on my nose?
Yeah, see, you need to put more effort into like nosing than I do. I can nose that from here, and that's a good foot and a half.
We can shrink it down to be very quick. 1, don't put too much water in your whiskey. That's a silly idea.
Yeah.
2, definitely use the right type of glass, like a Capilla or Glencairn. 3, you're
going to make Brian happy with 2.
If you really want to nose it properly, if you want to just relax and enjoy your whiskey, Tumbler Club all the way. Tumbler Club,
hashtag Tumbler Club.
You should just let the whiskey come to you. I start to sound like Richard Patterson now. Let the whiskey come to you.
You must let the whiskey come to you.
Start off with when you're nosing it, and just take your
Yeah,
nose
late, pal.
in and out a little bit, which is kind of what he's saying. And then you can get your nose into it. And I find often once you've actually sipped the whiskey, you should take a very small sip of the whiskey. Actually, you get more on the nose afterwards once you sip the whiskey initially.
Yeah.
And that's
Do
it.
you know what
That's
one of my most
tasting in
enjoyable things
30
is
seconds.
to do new people is when you try and get them to nose a whiskey and open their mouth at the same time. The first time someone tries to do that is brilliant because they're just like, they start breathing it into the mouth. I'm like, no, just literally breathe in through your nose normally, but just have your mouth
Don't
open.
tell people they have to do you can only drink whiskey if you can do circular breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. So put down the didgeridoo.
It takes 10 years to learn how to drink whiskey because you can't learn until you can do the didgeridoo. Once you can play a didgeridoo, you can drink whiskey.
It's like, congratulations, here's your certificate and a dram.
I'm actually
throw it
third
away. Here's your second.
didgeridoos.
I couldn't even say that sentence.
That's the Richard Patterson segment and nosing whiskey. I wonder what type of whiskey noser you are when you're listening to this. If you have a think about it, and I'm sure there's more types, but generally, I wonder what type you are. Feel free to hit us up and tag us and let us know what type of whiskey noser you are. So another nice pop. I pre-poured mine today so they could air like a proper whiskey fan. The other thing I was thinking about is it might be nice to start introducing nicknames for some distilleries to the pod, which, by the way, is called Honest to a Malt, just in case you've randomly found yourself in the middle of a podcast and you're like, I don't know what I'm listening to. And I was just thinking of some that come really obviously, like The Frog.
The Frog.
The Frog or La Frog.
Yeah.
Ben Winners. I like that one.
That's good.
That's a good one, right? I don't know, Mac All In, maybe, because that could be a bit grimy. But I think what we're going to do is maybe we're not going to try to come up with them all now, but we might start to introduce some sort of nicknames. So again, if you have nicknames for whiskey distilleries that you're fond of, feel free to share them. Because I think that reg listeners would probably appreciate some sort of abbreviations on distilleries, and that would also cover up some of our occasional mispronunciations.
English and Welsh trying to pronounce Scottish distilleries.
Yeah,
we do get it wrong occasionally. Like, since taking the mick out of people doing pronunciations of whiskey, I am now saying Glenmorangie. That's Glenmorangi's gone.
You're saying it wrong now.
I look at a bottle, I say the wrong thing that we took the mick out of it for now.
Because you've embedded it into your mind wrong, but that can happen.
Because I was laughing about it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, God, so I'm literally trying to train myself now to say Glenmorangie again.
Yeah, we've ruined you.
Glenmorangie. See? That was it.
This will be the last pod episode ever, and the only thing you'll have got out of doing the podcast will be you now mispronounce some distillery names you used to get right.
Yeah.
Reflecting back
Glenmorangie, please.
Reflecting back on your time doing that podcast, Mike, what did you get out of it? Nothing. Less than nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
I went backwards. I regressed. So, main segment today.
Le Supermarché.
We Supermarché On. So, supermarket drams. So, but let's get into it. What whiskies would you buy? And I think we can extend it to to Bezos.com, to Amazon.com, because let's face it, most people just order sitting at home these days.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to push Amazon because this is the evil entity that's going to eventually rule the world. But hey ho, I mean, it's convenient. And like we sort of said before the pod, why are you going to walk to the shop? I know people are going to go lazy, blah, blah, blah. I can just order it. It's going to be at my house the next morning. I don't need to go out.
But these are types of people. Like you must have been that kind of person that used to buy. I used to buy supermarket whiskey years ago. Yeah, of course. And I occasionally buy it now. So what we're saying is, what are the bottles that are really good still to buy at supermarket or Amazon, that are good value, that are great whiskies, and what to avoid, which is basically everything else. Always
have a browse of the whiskey shelf.
Yeah,
in the supermarket. Can't help myself, always will, because I've picked up so many bargains over the years. I remember going into a shop run by Covent Garden, a Tesco Express.
Yeah.
I was just wandering past and they had Ardbeg 10, I think it was 25 quid. It was all just reduced to clear. I was like, how many have you got? He's like 5. I went, have them. Yeah.
All of them.
Have it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't
you can
care
always
about
get
other
that.
people.
You always get sometimes you're lucky, you get reduced to clear stuff.
Yeah.
Sainsbury's did a deal with samples of, it was a 50 cl bottle of Glenfiddich and 2 Dartington whiskey tasting glasses. And they were getting rid of them for £3 a pop.
What, Darlington Crystal?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, those kind of weird fat
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
tumblers, yeah. Like somewhere between a tumbler and a Glencairn. And I got 3 or 4 packs of those, or 5 packs. And I put all of the samples in an infinity bottle as a base for the infinity bottle. And I've just put the glasses in the cupboard. I don't drink out of them that much now, but, it's good to have extra glasses always, isn't it?
I've seen loads of people, sort of quite a current clearance offer, obviously not in every shop, but Bruichladdich is reduced to, I want to say 20.
Bruichladdich.
Oh, I'm Welsh. Bruichladdich is how I would say it in Welsh. It's my... Okay, Bruichladdich.
Leave that in.
I know it's the laddie.
Yeah.
Which is the laddie that's reduced. And I think it's from 43 to 27 in loads of places. They're clearing out last year's stock of it. Right. I just see it appearing on Twitter every couple of weeks, a different store clearing their stock
Clearing it out.
So
I love,
I
love Classic Laddie. I think it's really good. And it's one of those ones that you probably wouldn't buy very often. But when you do, you're reminded that it's a really good whiskey. So I've put down some bottles that I would definitely buy. And I think my first rule of buying the kind of supermarket Amazon-y type whiskey, we're talking like Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Tesco's, Morrison's, Mozzers, all of those, right?
Yeah.
Is only buy these quality bottles when they're actually on offer.
Yes.
Just be patient in between. So a good example is Talisker 10.
Yeah.
It's usually 30, 31 pounds. At that price, I've actually got a drop of it in my glass now. I don't care about the caramel, the E10 or whatever.
I was drinking on a stag do last week.
It's great. And at that price, it's a bargain. And, it's 45.8%. And I think that's another one of the rules, which is that you should look for the drams which aren't 40% ABV.
Yeah.
The ones which
40s.
are 43, 45, 46, that's the way to go. In the same vein, I'd say, because I think we'll put together a top 10. I would do a blog post out of this. Cotswolds single malt when it's £30, which it is now, right? It's right now it is, but it varies. It comes in, it comes out. You can get it for 30 at the moment instead of 39. I put that in there. Bunner 12 when it's £35.70.
On Amazon now, I think it's 35 quid.
46.3%. You're getting vanilla, toffee, toasted nuts, a few other things. Coastal saltiness, perfect. And I think generally people's favourite bargain whiskey. Can't argue it. But these are all under £40 or they're around kind of £30 each.
Yeah.
Wee Beastie when it's 33, 34. You've got Ardbeg 10 when it's 37, 38, 39.
Mate, I've seen things from Americans that are over here and they are like shocked that you can get Eagle Rare from Tesco's on offer, often around 35 quid.
So you're
Whereas
tossing
in the
Eagle Rare in
States-
there as well.
Oh, mate, 100%.
What-
35 quid
what about
for a
Buffalo
45%
Trace?
bourbon. Buffalo Trace, I love it. It is only 40% in the UK, which is a shame. It's generally about 20 quid. You can pick it up for about 18 now and again.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the perfect whiskey. If you are going to someone's house for a barbecue and you have to bring something,
Yeah.
bring a bottle of 40% Buffalo Trace. It's good enough to mix with ice, Coke, whatever you want. People can drink it. You can have actual whiskey with it, like a whiskey tasting as such with it. And yeah, it's such good value for that price if you can get it for like 18. But again, don't pay anything over 20 because any price you see over 20 is just a con for the supermarkets to say, it's now back on offer. Because there's always something on offer.
I feel like there's not as good value bourbons, but Eagle Rare 10, get it. That's one.
Yeah.
That's one I should pick up. I think best one around the kind of £20-ish price point in the UK is Tamnavulin. And
which I haven't tried.
yeah, and it's the only exception I'm going to make it 40%, and it's passed the test. And what I mean by that is I've bought it for the father-in-law as well as other bottles in and around that price range. And I find this really funny. He came back to me. He went. I really like that Tamna. That's really good. But
The Tamna.
he went.
Tamna.
He went. Oh, what's the other one? I was like Jura. He goes. Didn't like that.
He's an expert already. then.
And I was like, you can't
Can't teach it.
Can't teach
Someone
it.
doesn't
It's just
know it.
instinct, right? And I think I also got him Glen Scotia, the Harbour edition for about 30 quid. When it
Nice.
was 30 quid. And he said that was all right. He quite liked it, but he didn't like it as much as Tamlin, and they do a few editions, and I think that's the best value, kind of around that kind of £20 mark.
Yeah,
as a single malt, right?
100%,
40%. You can get Black Barrel sometimes at 27 quid, although that's 40%. And even this week, I saw, how do you say it? What's the rye called?
Sazerac.
Sazerac. That came down to £27, right? 45%.
Another Buffalo Trace product. That's all 3 Buffalo Trace
Buffalo
products.
Trace is amazing, though, as a distillery, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
But that's excellent value, sub £30. So my first rule I put to you, Mike, would be don't
talk about supermarket whiskies.
No,
obviously.
not that. It would be...
It's like first rule of Fight Club. Can't talk about it.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Don't talk about... No, the first rule would be don't talk about whiskey you've purchased with other people who you have financial responsibilities towards. That would be the first rule. First rule is never talk about purchases, as we said, smuggling into house. The first rule around buying supermarket whiskey for me would be that don't spend over 40 quid. If you're getting over 40 quid, forget it. Buy it elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I think even if you're getting to kind of over sort of £30, you could start to look at other larger retailers like you know, your Master of Malts, etc., and see what's kind of on there. You know, about that £40. Let's remember, you've got things like the Campbellton 8-year-old for 40 quid. There was an Isla special
the
edition.
Leszczyk Rioja.
Yeah, the Rioja, right? Ooh. So there's all kinds of bottles you can get in that range that you wouldn't get at supermarkets. So the first thing is supermarkets don't stock that much, and actually neither does Amazon at a reasonable price. Amazon's really good at the...
Unless you're in Scotland.
Okay, unless you're in Scotland.
Supermarket trip to in Scotland is a completely different ball game to us.
Forget that. We can't get there. And I've heard about specialist supermarkets that are in the north that stock really good stuff as well, but that doesn't happen here. I think like what we're talking
us down here in Smoke.
We're talking about people that don't know too much about whiskey. So it's like what we're saying is if you don't know too much about whiskey, you shouldn't spend more than £40 at a supermarket. You should only buy when it's on offer. Try to avoid an ABV of 40%. I think when you don't know much about it, you're like, 40% sounds like a lot, but it actually isn't. You want to go for sort of 45, 46%, minimum 43, really. That would be what I'd be shooting at, really.
Yeah, because you can drop like... what did I drop on people the other day? An SMWS, the Scotia, on the train up to Leeds, and people were drinking it, going, "That's really nice," and I was like, "Yep, I won't tell you the strength, but tell me what you think of it." And they were really enjoying it. No like harsh faces, but if you'd have told them the strength of it,
but that's 60,
they'd have been wincing.
That was what, 65 quid or something, or 70 quid?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're off on a different tangent.
That's how people's, you know, they're sort of, I buy whiskey once every 6 months. That's how that kind of price range, isn't it? So what we're saying is, we're talking about people who stock up on cheaper whiskey to supplement, you know, their expensive single malt habit, right? Yeah. And which are the ones we kind of pick out. Tom Martin Legacy, sort of 24.90, 43%. I think that can be sort of about 25 quid. That's very good, underrated.
I used to I remember picking up in, I think it was Tesco, but I think they sell it in a few places now, the Highland Park Dragon Legend, I want to say.
Dragon Legend.
I liked it. Everyone sort of slated it.
Did you play the video game of that?
I don't know what that is.
The video game of it? The Nintendo video game?
No.
There isn't one. I'm just making it up.
I was like, I got no idea what you're on about.
It just sounds like it should be a video game. Dragon Legend.
You'd have gone, I played it. I bought 2 copies.
Yeah.
No, I think I picked that up for like 35. I'm just quickly looking now. 32 quid. Right. It's Morrison's. And I can't remember the ABV. What is it? 43.
Well, you also mentioned Benriach, the 43% 10-year-old, sub £30.
Waitrose.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. These things change, but the rules...
Don't buy full price.
But the rules stay the same. There is one whiskey that I would love to try, which people seem to be obsessed with, which I haven't tried for donkey's years, which is Cardew Gold. And I'm sure it's rubbish and people just think it's great. But I'm going to try it anyway, just to be sure. And another one people are obsessed with that they buy from kind of supermarket stuff is Monkey Shoulder. And I haven't tried that in ages, not for like 7 years or something.
No.
So I'm going to try those 2 again to see if they're really okay or not.
Monkey Shoulder, I've got nothing but sort of like great memories of it, but it was good. It was solid, perfectly palatable whiskey. If there was no other whiskey in the bar and there was just Monkey Shoulder, I'd be more than happy. Like I would be a satisfied little monkey with my monkey shoulder.
Right.
Definitely. 100%.
So what are we saying in summary here then? My top ones would be like buy Cotswolds, buy Talisker 10.
Yeah.
You know,
but again, if you're in a bind, there's still a lot to be said for sort of your Glenfiddich and those sort of.
I tried the 15. I tried the 15 round someone's not too long ago.
Is that the Solera?
Whatever. No, just the 15. No, isn't just standard 15.
I think
that's 40%.
French oak, and it's like a sort of Solera, so they just keep topping it up.
Just
which is
very
way
middle.
Just saying they're mixing thousands of barrels.
It's just very middle of the road. It's easy sipping, but what we're saying is that the other whiskies that we've mentioned have more about them, and surely, if you're going to do that, I'm not drawing a direct comparison, but you could arguably, if that's what you're going to do, just get like a bottle of double black from Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
If that's what you're doing, you're going to put a large cube of ice in it. Then why bother? Just go for like £25 or whatever it is, or £30 instead. Stick a giant ice cube in it.
Or Johnny Walker 15. Always
green label. If green label's sub £40, then 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably worth getting. So the rules are then, because we will do a post about this, but the rules I would say is don't spend more than £40 on what we classify as a supermarket dram. Right, that's rule 1. Or rule 2 is avoid at 40% ABV, no brainer. And rule 3 would be look at some of the larger retailers that you can do from your backside at home, like Master of Malt and a couple of other ones, and just have a look what they've got going on. Because if you only buy whiskey like 2, 3, 4 times a year, you'll find something way more interesting on there for the same price. Just be patient and check it periodically. Right, there's some good offers and good deals going on.
Or don't be afraid to reach out to someone on social media.
Yeah, just ask a mate. Yeah,
because there's, like I said, any whiskey geek will always just start firing off options for you at whatever price range you want.
No, there is better whiskey out there, and that you could drink it for the same money that you are going to spend. Down the supermarket or on Amazon buying a bottle that you could get from the supermarket.
Well, I think I'd say the average person, when they buy whiskey a lot of the time, if they're not a whiskey drinker, is for like people's leaving dues and stuff like that, and leaving gifts.
Yeah, gifts,
like, I've got
Christmas
£100
gifts,
to buy
birthdays.
a whiskey, and I'm going to get an 18-year-old in a presentation case that's like 40%. And you're like, no. Just ask. So, like, everyone from work now asks me. Someone's leaving. I'm like, right, do you know what they drink now? Boom. I'll send like whatever they say. I've got £100 to spend. I'm like, okay, that's what you can get for 100, but this is 125. And they will really appreciate that, like extra 25.
Always stretch the budget upwards.
Yeah.
So on the pod today, we've mentioned a couple of things, haven't we? So one, we'll do a post about this. I think the other thing is if you've got any kind of favourite nicknames for distilleries, let us know. Yeah. Feel free to share what type of whiskey noser you are, what kind of sniffer you are, and if you haven't
weird in someone's pot.
Well, it doesn't sound as weird as going.
Throw it out
as you're drinking, as you're tasting your whiskey. And the other thing is, if you haven't followed already or subscribed, remember this is a free pod. Hit subscribe or follow or whatever it is.
Yes.
And cheers. We'll do another episode next week, won't we, Mike?
Yes, we will indeed. And thank you for listening once again. And we look forward to seeing you soon.